Every one of you. I hope everyone is safe and sound, doing extremely well. This is Baswaraj, your biology master teacher. Welcome back to Diksha Vedantu 9th and 10th students. Students, before we start even a single question, I want everyone to tell me in the chat if I am audible. Check, check, check if my voice is audible to all of you, and the presentation, that is the 100 PYQ first flight prose and poem, the presentation behind me is visible to each and every one of you. Quickly tell me in the chat. Quickly tell me in the chat if my voice is audible and presentation me behind me is visible to each and every one of you. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, students. Quickly tell me in the chat if I am audible. Yes, you are. Amazing. Students, how was your exam today? Let me know in the chat, all of you writing the languages, especially students who are in Karnataka who wrote Kannada exam today. Let me know in the comment section, how was your exam? Yes, how was your exam? Quickly tell me in the chat. Quickly tell me in the chat, how was your other exams? Thumbnail, yes, thumbnail is OP, yes. How was your exams, languages? And also tell me, how is the preparation going on? Is it going super, or is it like, it's there, or no sir, I'm not understood anything in English? Chashma, I got it from a friend. Chashma, I got it from a friend. So tell me that, can we start? Students, hello, Krishu, hello. Students, yesterday's class, we were doing some questions. For example, we did almost 55 questions in yesterday's class. That is, almost all the chapters were covered in yesterday's class. The rest of the chapters, yes, rest of the chapters we'll be doing in today's video, and also we will be doing all the poems. So are you ready? Yes, we'll be doing every single poem today. Every single poem. All the poems from your chapter, from your book, First Flight. And I have questions, all of the questions with you. So all the questions are going to be in the description today. So every single question which we have done in yesterday's class, and all the questions which we will be doing in today's class, every single one of them is going to be in the description. So go on, click on the link, download every single question and practice after the session. So can we start? Hindi was super, amazing. Hindi was super. So can we start today's English? Last 50 PYQs. Can we start? A quick thumbs up in the chat, or fire, or heart, or any emoji in the chat, and I will start the next 55 questions, part of your 100 PYQs, the first flight. Can we start? Show some energy in the chat. And also, smash that like button right now. Smash that like button right now, and we will start the next 50 questions of your chapter from the book First Flight. Namaskara to you too. Namaskara. I am really doing well. So the first question here, students, every single question is going to be a your CBSE previous year question. CBSE previous year question. Let's read the question. Students, I will read the question. I will read the answer. Then I'll explain you. So read with me. All of you read with me. Who was Gautam Buddha? When and where was he born? Simple question, very basic question. Who was Gautam Buddha? When and where was he born? Okay. Gautam Buddha was a prince. First of all, Gautam Buddha was a prince who was named Siddhartha Gautam by his parents. He was born in 563 BC, before Christ, in North India. He had been shielded. Now, what is the meaning of shielded? The meaning of shielded is he was hidden. All the sufferings of the world, he was completely blindsided. Like his parents made sure that the Gautam Buddha does not see the sufferings of the world. He was shielded from the sufferings of the world. He attained enlightenment under a people tree called as Bodhi tree. So where was he born? He was born in the North India. When and where? In the 563 BC. Now, depending upon the question, you can change. Depending upon the question, the marks asked, you can increase the content. Okay. Next question. Mention the incident which prompted. What is the meaning of prompted? For example, if your exam is tomorrow, suddenly you'll be like, okay, I have to study a lot. Suddenly you'll realization. The realization will come from inside, right? That is the prompted. Mention the incident which prompted the Prince Siddhartha to become a beggar or to become a saint. Once Prince Siddhartha had gone for hunting, where he came across a sick man. an aged man, a monk, asking for alms, and also witnessed a funeral process. Unable to understand those sufferings, he became a beggar. Not only a beggar, he became a saint, he became a monk. That is, he decided that I do not want to be a prince anymore. He left the entire kingdom. He went on for a walk for 7 years. After the 7 years walk under a peepal tree, he sat for 7 days. After sitting under the peepal tree for 7 days, he got the enlightenment that he realized, that is the birth and the death, the entire meaning of humanity he understood. Why was Kaisa Gautami sad? What did she do in her hour of grief? That is, why was she sad? Did she lose someone or did she lose something? So Kaisa Gautami was the wife here. Kaisa Gautami was sad because her only son had died. The only son had died. So when someone dies, that period of sadness, the period of sadness. So what is the meaning of enlightenment? So the meaning of enlightenment is like, the extra knowledge you get, the extra enlightenment that you understand how the world works. Usually it does not happen with all of us because we need to meditate for hours to understand how the entire world works, the time and space and everything. That is enlightenment. Okay, when you understand how the things happen in the world. In her hours of grief, what is the meaning of in hours of grief? In hours of grief is nothing but what is the time period when someone dies. For example, if you had a puppy or a cat, if the pet dies, you will feel the sadness, right? Or if you have lost someone who is very close to you. Okay, when you lose someone who's very close to you, you feel a sadness inside your heart, right? That is called as grief or grief. She went from house to house in the search for a medicine to cure him. Even though, right? Even though the son was no more, she went house to house asking for a medicine who could bring him back to life. Right? She had become selfish in wanting her son back. So he became very selfish. She did not care about what other people might think, what other people might see. She did not care about anything. She became very selfish. That's what happens when you love someone so much. That's what a mother feels towards her children. That is the love. So she became very selfish that she wants her son back. Okay. Now, Kaisa Gautami again goes from house to house after she speaks with the Buddha. Now, after speaking to Buddha, she goes from house to house again. Why does she go? That is, what does she ask for the second time around? Does she get? Why not? If she gets it or if she does not get it, tell me in the chat answer. Grammar will be happening today and tomorrow. Okay. So why was she going from house to house? Can anyone tell me in the chat? After speaking with Gautam Buddha, she went from house to house. Now, what could be the reason behind it? There is an answer. Don't worry, Kaisa Gautami, there is a character set. That question is coming. That question is coming because it was a previous question and I have, in fact, included in today's session. Okay. Why was she going from house to house? What was he searching for? Anyone in the chat who can tell me? The reason I'm standing so close, so I don't want all of you to see the answer. Can anyone in the chat tell me? I'll wait for a fraction of a second. I'll wait for 2-3 seconds for answer. To take the custard. Is it custard or mustard? Krishu, is it custard or mustard? It is mustard seeds. To collect the mustard seeds. Exactly. Kaisa Gautami goes from house to house to bring some mustard seeds. Now, what was the condition? But there is a condition. She was happy when she heard mustard seeds. But there is a condition. What is the condition? The condition is that whatever house she's getting the mustard seeds from, in that house, no one should have died. That is, where no death had taken place as asked by the Buddha to cure her son. So she was supposed to go from house to house searching for mustard seeds. But the condition was, in that particular house, no death should have happened. Right? But she was unable to find such a house where no death had taken place. So did she get the mustard seeds? The answer is no. She did not find mustard seeds in which there was no death in the house. It made her realize, now this is very important here, there have been multiple questions on this. It made her realize that death is inevitable. Now, what is the meaning of inevitable? The meaning of inevitable is you cannot stop it. So every single human, every single organism which is born on this world is destined to death sometime or later. Okay, for example, in the case of humans, the average lifespan is around 70 to 80 years. Yes, some humans might survive after that, but the death of every single human is always bound to happen. Okay, it is inevitable and no one can deny the nature cycle. The nature cycle of birth and death, no one can escape it. That made her realize when she went from house to house asking for the mustard seeds. In every single house there was a death. In every single house there was a death, and that made her realize every single human on this earth will die someday. Okay, unstoppable, yes, inevitable can be unstoppable, or it is supposed to happen, it will happen, no one can stop it, no one can stop it. Don't worry, Divyansh, this particular PDF will be given to you in this particular description. In today's video's description, I will add this entire PDF and you can go through all the questions, practice all the questions, and make sure you get all the marks. Next question. How did Buddha teach Kaisa Gautami the truth of life? Again the same question. Are you noticing? They're asking you the same question in a different format now. The same answer is going to be the same, but the question where they're asking the question can vary. Now this is going to be a 6-mark question. This is going to be a 6-mark question. Kaisa Gautami was devastated by the death of her only son, we know that, and wandered door to door for seeking help. That is, she went from house to house for asking for the medicine to cure her son. Someone directed her to the Kaishmuni, the Buddha, who asked her to bring a handful. Now, what is the meaning of handful? Like if you take this hand, this is called as handful. Handful of mustard seeds. Now, this raised a hope in Gautami's heart. There was a hope in her heart that I can get a mustard seeds. But there was a condition. Now, what was this condition? The condition was that the house where she's obtaining the seeds from, no death should have taken place, that her son could be revived. But the condition imposed by the Gautam Buddha was that seeds should be from a house where people have not lost a loved one to death. Kaisa Gautami, futile. What is the meaning of futile? The meaning of futile is which is not going to happen. Search made her realize that the bitter truth that sorrows are a part and parcel of life. That is, a sadness. The sadness is part of parcel of life, and everyone will go through it someday or another. Okay, exactly. So 6:30 session, there is a week quiz. Yes, aspirant boy, there is a 6:30 week quiz. Especially it's going to be a grammar week quiz because all of you have been asking for grammar, right? So 6:30 there is a quiz on grammar. Okay, actually I can teach chemistry also because I've done an undergraduate degree in chemistry, so I can teach chemistry, English and bio. Physics not much because it's been years since I studied physics. The last time I studied physics was in class 12th, but chemistry was in my undergraduate degree, so I can teach chemistry also to some level. Okay, next question. What did the Buddha do after he had attained enlightenment? Why? So after Buddha walked around for 7 years, the Buddha kept on walking for 7 years, but after 7 years he sat under a peepal tree for 7 days. After the 7 days, he found the enlightenment, he found the light within inside him. Okay, so Prince Siddhartha Gautam was deeply pained by the suffering. See, this is how you write the answer. This is how you write the answer. Okay, Prince Siddhartha Gautam was deeply pained by the sufferings he saw around him and left the house to seek the truth of life. After wandering for 7 years, this is very important. After wandering for 7 years, 7 years he was walking around. He finally sat under the peepal tree to meditate till he received the enlightenment. The wisdom of law that governs the cycle of birth and death dawned on him. That is the enlightenment. So what is the enlightenment he received? The enlightenment he received was he understood the complete cycle of birth and death, that every single human is bound to be death. All this grief, sadness, happiness, every single is a package which a human has to go through. Okay. So I'll give you a question. Don't worry, I'll give you a question. Okay. The Buddha, so this is very important, the second part. The Buddha set out to share it with the world to relieve the mortals of their sufferings. That is, every single mortal. What is the meaning of mortal? Mortals are the organisms who are bound to death, that they'll undergo death someday or another. So he went on to speaking to mortals, telling that this is life. This is going to happen in life. Death is inevitable. Okay. PayPal tree. It is people tree. People, not PayPal. PayPal is for giving the money. So competency based question, I'll tell you a small trick. Competency based question will always ask for a personal opinion. So that should be a strong point. What does the Buddha say about the world? Simple question. The Buddha says that everything in this world is subjected to death. Every single object, every single Sakshi Muni is nothing but Buddha. Sakshi Muni is Buddha itself. Okay? It's subject to death. He further says that the world is deeply affected by the sufferings, diseases or pain inevitable, therefore death and decay. That is the entire world. Our world is slowly, every single organism on earth is bound to death. How do you usually understand the idea of selfishness? See, this is the competency based question or value based question. Competency based question or value based question. How do you usually understand the idea of selfishness? Do you agree with Kaisa Gautami that she was selfish on her grief? Is it natural for people to be selfish at times? Tell me in the chat. Are any of you selfish? Kratos is also mortal. Yes, sir. Yes, Kratos is also mortal. A mortal who's killing gods. Kratos. Amazing. I remember playing God of War 2 when I was in my class 10th, I guess. Class 10th or 12th. God of War 2 came out that time. Can anyone tell me in the chat, are you selfish? Tell me honestly, no one is going to judge you. No one is going to judge you. Are you selfish? Are you selfish? Some or other way. Every single human on this earth is selfish actually. Everyone is selfish for something or another. A mother could be selfish for her child, that my child should succeed in life. Everyone is selfish. Don't be lie. Do not lie. Do not lie to me. Because I am selfish. I know I am selfish. I am selfish that my students should get the best education. Yes. I am doing really great. Exactly. Everyone is selfish. You know, in fact, your own DNA inside your body, in the DNA inside your body is selfish. That is, when the DNA is about to die, it replicates itself. The DNA is selfish that it does not want to die. That is DNA. Yes, Krishu, God of War was my favorite game. Actually, the recent God of War also I was playing around 2 months back. I was playing the new God of War. Again, I was playing. When I get bored, I play again. God of War and GTA 5 are like the go-to games. Selfishness means when a person does something only for own benefit. Yes, that is selfish. That is, you will be so selfish that you want to succeed in life, or you want to do something on your own, or sometimes there is a yummy food your mama has prepared. You will not share with others, you will only eat your food. Yes, selfishness, benefit or think only about himself or herself. Kaisa Gautami was selfish in wanting her dead son to be alive. That is selfishness, what she showed. That she wanted dead son to be alive. But how did she realize? After going from house to house, she realized that every single organism or every single human will face death. It could be a mother's love in which had blinded her. She was wrong in wanting that. She could not see the reality of life. Very important life. See students, if they ask you the character sketch of the Kaisa Gautami, you can mention all of these points. You can mention all of these points that Kaisa Gautami was selfish because she was blinded by the mother's love towards her son. Right? You can mention all these points. It is perfectly natural for anyone to be selfish at times. Every single human will be selfish. See, this is a 6 marks question. They can ask you 6 marks. This is a 6 mark question or 5 marks question. Okay? I don't know. When this desire becomes harmful to others or demands becomes unrealistic, it is wrong. See, this is very important. when your selfishness starts to harm others. Yes, when your selfishness starts to harm others, that is the wrong point. See, selfishness is okay for one limit. There is one limit for selfishness. But when your selfishness is harming others' preparation, that is bad. For example, you want to study. Imagine you're sitting in your class and everyone is studying, and you start to study loudly. Will that disturb others? Yes. So that becomes selfish. When that time, what do you need to do? You need to study in your mind. So that is the selfishness. You need to have the selfishness under control. Okay, a little bit of selfishness is there in generally everyone, and it is natural to be so. Okay, this is how the question can be asked. 6-mark question can be asked, a value based question. See here, how does the Gautam Buddha make human beings realize that death is common to all? Very important question. In the first sermon, the Buddha makes the humans being realize that the death is common to all. It is true that human life is full of troubles and grief. The human life is trouble, because now you're going to trouble now, right? You are studying for examination continuously because you did not study the entire year. You are undergoing some troubles. Now, once you go to college, again you will have different type of troubles there. When you go to your when you go to your higher education, you will have some other troubles. Then you will grow older, you will have more troubles. So entire human life is filled with troubles and grief. After the death of a loved one, one's feelings are combined with pain. This is very important line. After the death of a loved one, it could be anyone, a brother, sister, mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, a wife and husband. Every single loved one's death is always filled with a lot of pain in your life. It cannot, but life cannot stop here. Very important line. Just because someone left, you cannot be like, even I will stop my life. No. So why? That is the answer. She stopped searching for seats because she realized that every single house has someone else has death. Someone has passed away in that house, and that made her realize that not only her son only is the not person who's dead. Every single house there is a death happening. Every single person has lost a loved one, and it is time for her to move on. That she cannot hold on to that grief. She cannot hold on to that trouble. At one point, she needs to realize. She realized that death is common. Death is gonna be happening, and nothing can stop it. Okay. Yes, see, Sudesh, you need to write value points. You can't be like, I'll fill the pages, like, I'll be, after writing one word, I'll give big space. No, 6 to 7 lines are okay, important, but the 6 to 7 lines needs to be proper. Value based question needs to have proper points, value points. Death is inevitable. It cannot be avoided. So in such adverse situation, there is no use for crying and mourning, but it is necessary. If we accept this universal truth of inevitable death, it will not only lessen the pain, but also help us to tackle the situation. This was told by Gautam Buddha. So that was the end of the chapter. Then we have the last chapter for today. Chapter for today. Then we'll do poems. Last chapter, that is the proposal. Can we start? Can we start the last chapter now? The proposal chapter. Students, you can expect a character sketch in this particular chapter. I'm telling you. See, in this last chapter proposal, they can either ask you what was the character sketch. Then they can also ask you what were the quarrels. What were they fighting? That is, two different characters, what were they fighting about? That could be a question. Okay. Other than that, they will not ask you a question here. Who is Lamo and why does he visit the Chubukau? Some Russian names are very weird to pronounce. Chubukau. The Lemon is a landowner in the Russia. He is about 35 years old. This is a character sketch. Character sketch is also given here. 35 years old, which is the critical age for marriage. In order to put his proposal for Natalia, he visits the Chubukov in his best dressed, best suit he'll wear. He'll wear the best dress possible ever, best dress, and Chubukov thought that he had come to borrow some money. So Chubukov thought he's so dressed and everything, he thought he's asking for money, but no. What was there for? He was not there for money. He was there for proposal. He wanted to marry the Chubukov's daughter. Okay. Next question. What do you learn about Natalia from the play The Proposal? See, they can ask you a question like this directly. What did you learn about her character? Natalia is the only daughter of the landowner Chubukov. She was a very possessive about her land. Yes, she kept on fighting about Oxy Meadows. She kept on fighting that she's very possessive about her land, and was very determined not to be part with it. Not to part with it. Not to part with means she was not ready to give away her land at all. She kept on fighting that no, this is our land. She was a short-tempered. Why was she short-tempered? Because she kept on screaming. She started calling names. She started, telling about the family members also. Very short-tempered. She got angry very quickly angry. Short-tempered lady who used to quarrel with anyone very often. She always pinpointed the amount of help she had offered to her neighbors. She would always tell that. Okay? She would always keep on fighting, always keep on telling. Okay, very short-tempered, very angry, very quickly. Very angry, very quickly. So what you can ask me which point you're not understanding, I'll repeat again. Don't worry, you can ask me a doubt. You can ask me a doubt, I will repeat again. Even if it takes 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, you can keep on asking me, I will tell you. Okay? See this. It's a 6 marks question. Give a character sketch of so difficult to read Hindi. I'm trying. Wait. सर आग मैं सभी आपके क्वेश्चंस करके जाता हूँ और सभी 1 सेकेंड चैप्टर पढ़ लेता हूँ, अच्छे नंबर आ सकते हैं. Yes, students, these are your previous year questions. So students, you can expect a high questions from this, but I would suggest you to read the summary at least once. Read the summary once and then solve the questions. It's going to be easy for you. State the similarities between the Chibukov towards the daughter marriage and a typical Indian father towards the daughter's marriage. See, they were asking you similarities between the two Indian father and Chibukov. Now, the first similarity is that both in case of India as well as Chibukov, they were ready to send their daughter off. They were like Chibukov was so happy that someone is asking for proposal. So both, even in the case of Indian dad or in the case of here in the story, both the fathers were ready to send their daughter off. Like they were ready for marriage for their marriage of their daughter. Secondly, in both the cases, they were ready to give away the land. Did you notice? As soon as he heard that the proposal is on the picture, he was ready to give away the land. He's like, take away the land, everything, just get married. And other point is that in this case also, they're looking for someone in the same neighborhood who is in the same, in a similar neighborhood who is also wealthy. Like a wealthy connection is happening. That has been happening. And then similarly, in both the cases, Indian weddings and Russian weddings, there are certain rituals which are very common. You can also mention that. Okay. So I didn't understand how the tropic movement growth related. Krishu, I will teach you that in the biology class. Okay, don't worry. So all of you read with me now. All of you read with me. All of you, once I'm reading, read with me. This is how 6-mark question will be asked. Lamo was a funny man. First point here. Funny man. Physically he was weak, but financially he was sound. Means physically he had a lot of problems. That is, his left shoulder was weak, leg was becoming numb. He kept on sweating a lot, palpitation. Second point, he was a rich bachelor. Means he was unmarried, who wanted to marry Natalia. Third point again, he was not really in love with the Natalia, but wanted to marry her because he thought that she was a good housekeeper and beautiful. Not in love, but he was a good housekeeper and beautiful. Okay. He said if he desired for an ideal or real love, he would never get married at all, because he never believed in that. He felt that he was 35. He was 35 years old. Now he must lead a quiet and regular life. That is why he wanted to get married. When he wanted to propose to her, he got diverted. Why was he got diverted? Because of the argument. Actually, Natalia thought that he had come to claim the Oxy Meadows as his own. The quarrel took place between them. One more time they quarreled over the petty issues. It shows that he can get here. Your Lamau can get distracted very easily. He can quarrel on petty issues. He will not let go of things. Yes, all of these are different characters of him. And he's a very stubborn man. He's a very stubborn man who is also willing to go to the court. All of these are the characters of Lamau. Okay. Next question. Why does the Chubukov suspect Lamau when he comes to his house? As soon as he's well dressed, everything. Once he comes back, once the Lamau comes to the house, the Chubukov is like, wait a minute, this guy is looking very suspicious. Why is he well dressed, completely nicely dressed, and he's coming to my house? He was very suspectful. Chubukov thought that he's probably asking for money, that is why he's coming. Okay. When Lamau comes to the Chubukov's house, the Chubukov suspects that Lamau may be going somewhere, because he comes there wearing a formal dress, nice suit boot. He's wearing nice suit. Okay. When Lamau explains to him that he come there to the seeking his help, the Chubukov suspected. What did he suspect? That is probably asking for money. That was the thing. Okay. Now neighbors must see, this is a value-based question again. Neighbors must have a cordial relationship. What is the meaning of cordial? The meaning of cordial is that a neighbor should have a good relationship. Okay, neighbor should have a good relationship, which Lamau and Natalia do not have. Describe the first fight between them. Students, this is a very important question. What was the first fight about? What was the second fight about? Both the fights they can ask you as a separate question, and they can ask you what was the character in them. Okay, they can ask you. Lamau and Natalia are next door neighbors. Moreover, the former, that Lamau came to Natalia to propose to her. So Lamau came to the house to propose to Natalia. The very first meeting had itself seeds of things to be expected in their marriage life. In spite of being very rich landlords, both of them were very rich, they quarreled over a very tiny piece of land. That was the first fight. What was the first fight? The first fight between Lamau and Natalia was for a tiny piece of land called as Oxy Meadows. Called as Oxen or Oxy Meadows. Lamau said that they were given the, this is also very important. Lamau said that they were given to the peasants of Natalia's great grandfather. That is, peasants means the workers. So they gave the land to the great grandfather workers. Okay, peasants of the Natalia's great grandfather. Peasants means farmers. Peasants means farmers or workers. Peasants means farmers or workers. So Lamau is telling Oxy Meadows was given to Natalia's great grandfather's workers. Okay, in return for the making bricks. For making bricks, they gave the piece of land, Lamau's auntie. So it happened to be considered to be Natalia's property. Okay, Natalia does not buy the explanation. Instead, offers to make a present of it to Lamau, who is in turn rejects the suggestion. The quarrel continues endly. See, this is how you write a big question. If they ask you extra 6-mark question, you need to keep on adding more and more points. That is, explain the entire fight, explain what happened before the fight, explain also what happened after the fight. Every single point should be included. Okay. The would-be couple were very materialistic. The meaning what? Both the couple, the Natalia and Lamau, both of them were very fond of material things. Like it could be gold, money, or dogs or anything. Their mask of hypocrisy fell off sooner than expected. They did not have qualities which go on to make a successful marriage. That is, they are not able to compromise. Both are not compromising. Both are very short-headed. Both of them are very angry. Both of them are like, not made for each other basically. tolerance and compassion, consideration for the other person's feelings. They're not even caring what other person is feeling. They kept on fighting with each other. Okay. Yes, first fight is about oxen meadows. The second fight is about the dogs, that is Squeezer and Guess. On what issue did the Lamau and Natalia quarrel? What does their quarrel reveal about them? Again, see, value-based question. They can tell you, ask questions like this. The first question was, the first quarrel was oxen meadows. The second quarrel about the dogs, namely Gus as well as the Squeezer. Okay, Lamau states that the dog had become lame since the leg has been bitten by other dog. Natalia pointed out that her dog Squeezer is better than the Gus. So basically they were fighting. Whose dog is better? My dog is better or your dog is better? That's the fight going on between them. Students, they can ask you questions directly based on the fights, or they can tell you that, what does it tell you? When two people are fighting, no one is compromising. What does it tell you? Use logic. Use logic and tell. Okay, use logic and you can tell. Okay. Abhay is asking, sir, can you do unseen passage? Yes, definitely. There is a video coming on unseen passage today itself. Today itself, there is a video coming on unseen passage. Don't worry. Okay. Now, what is the underlining message? Oh. So that is the end of chapters. That is the end of chapters. Don't worry. Sir, where is the session PDF provided, ma'am? Where session PDF? Okay. Session PDF will be there in the description by the end of today's video. Don't worry, and by the end of today's video, in the description video, the PDF will be available to all of you. It will be available. Okay. Don't worry, the entire PDF will be available. All of you can practice. Don't spam. All of you can all of you can practice the questions. So can we start? Can we start with the poem now? All the poems one by one. 1 second, let me check. Do you want me to show you? So can we start now, students? Can we start the entire poems now? Questions on poems. Show me some Josh in the chat. Show me some hearts in the chat if you want me to start the poems. And all of these are going to be previous questions. See, board 2016 and 17. Set F. Can we start? So session will end after 1 hour. We will do all the questions. See, I promised you to do 100 questions. I promised you to do 100 questions, so I'm going to do 100 PYQs. Okay. So can we start now, students? Questions from your poem now. Okay. Yes. Amazing. All of you are amazing. Show me some hearts in the chat. Show me some hearts in the chat, and I need some interaction. Don't delete it. It's fine. Don't delete. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. And also, don't forget to like the video. Do not forget to like the video, and we'll start. Okay. Yes, Suman. Yes, Nanda. Now, students, poems can be a little tricky. Poems can be a little tricky, so I will go very slow now. I'll explain you one point after one point because poems can have multiple meanings. Now, I'll be telling you every single meaning there is for every single poem. Okay. So, all of you read after me. Read with me, all of you. Read with me and understand. What is the underlining message for us? What is the meaning of underlining message? The meaning of underlining message is the hidden message. What is the hidden message for us in the hectic life with reference to the poem Dust of Snow? What is the hidden message? Now they can ask you, what is the actual meaning of the message from which we get from the poem? Read with me. The underlining message for us in our hectic life with the reference to the poem Dust of Snow is that we should enjoy nature uttermost, and we should have positive outlook even towards the simple acts because they can lead to the learning of greatest lessons of enjoying life. Now let me explain you in better terms. When the crow sat on the hemlock tree and the dust fell on him, the poet was actually very sad. He was very sad due to some reasons in the first part of his day. But when the small act, it could be a positive or negative. In this poem case, it was a negative thing. Hemlock tree is a poisonous tree. Crow symbolizes death. right? Even though a small negativeness can actually bring out a change in you. So the poem is actually telling you that even though your day might have gone, a small change in a person's life, a small change can bring out, or make sure you have a better day next on later on. So as soon as the snow fell on his head, he realized, what am I doing in life? Why am I sad now? I should not spend the day like this. So the rest of the day, the poet spent in a better manner. He realized, by being sad, just by sitting here, nothing is going to happen. If I'm sad, I will remain sad. So what did he do? He actually changed his perspective. He became happy, and he went on to have a better day. He went on to have a beautiful day later on. A small incident, a snow falling on hell, changed his entire day. Okay? Okay? That is the answer to that question. And that the other meaning here is the entire nature is beautiful. The negative things, see, usually we say, as soon as if a cat is crossing your way, what do you say? You're like, something bad will happen. But author is not, a poet is not like this. Even a bad thing, he's taking it in a much more positive way. That is, our poet here is extremely optimistic. What is the meaning of optimistic? A person who is always opportunistic, who is always looking for a better, brighter side. So all of you should be like that. Do not be discouraged by small negative things in your life. Do not let other things affect your life. So a small change can change your day. Students, I told you so many points. You can use all of these points when answering the question. Okay? Next question. Where should the tiger have been according to the poet in the poem Tiger in the Zoo? Now you tell me in the chat, is the tiger should be in the cage or the tiger should be in the jungle? Tell me right now. Should the tiger be in the jail, or the tiger should be in the cage, or it should be in the open jungle? Tell me quickly. Forest, yeah, exactly, in its natural habitat. That is what your poet is telling you. The poet thinks that the tiger should have been in the jungle. It should be in the jungle. Doing what? It should be in the jungle, lurking. Now what is the meaning of lurking? The meaning of lurking is slowly walking in the shadows, lurking in the shadows of long grasses to prey on the plumpy deer near the water holes. He should also be on the outskirts of the jungle, snarling. What is the meaning of snarling? Snarling means the tiger makes the sound, right? That is snarling. Snarling around the houses, and snarling means also going around the houses and terrifying the villagers. That is what a tiger should be doing. He should not be in a cage. He should not be in a cage just for amusement. He should be in the jungle. Okay? Now, how does the tiger act in the cage? Again, a CBSE 2016 question, and also CBSE 2018 question. 16-18, 2 years consecutively it has been asked. The tiger is locked in the concrete cell where he can hardly take a few steps. He can hardly take 2 to 3 steps. He can go from here, or he can go from here to here. Hardly few steps he can take, the tiger. The length of the cage, he doesn't take any notice to the visitors. That is, the tiger is completely ignoring the visitors, right, who come there. With his shining eye, he keeps staring at the bright stars in the sky. That is, he is very, very sad. He's just looking at the sky and looking out to the stars when the entire patrolling cars have gone back home. Okay? Next, how does the poet observe the nature in the poem The Dust of Snow? They're asking you again, how is he observing the nature? Usually, how we observe nature, for example, we think hemlock tree is a negative sense. A crow is a negative. If a cat is going across, your black cat is going in front of you, you're like, something bad will happen now. Yes? But poet is not like that. Poet is taking all the negative things which every common person would think, converting it to positive sense. That is, the Robert Frost poem, The Dust of Snow, he portrays the nature as the setting that has a positive emotional impact on an individual. That is, just the snow falling on us, just the snow falling on his head, he became, happy. A small impact completely changed the way he looks. The seemingly audial act of snow hitting the speaker's body, a small act of snow falling on his body, right, due to the crow's movement in the tree, gave him a better emotional state and brings happiness, where before there he was only negativity. There was only negativity. He was negative. Yes, he was very negative sense. But later on, the small movement of dust of snow falling on his head, he became much more happier. At the end of the poem, the reader sees the speakers uplifted and hopeful for a better hours in the day ahead. That is, he made sure that the rest of the day becomes better. The hemlock tree is sign of negativity is because the hemlock tree is a poisonous tree. Hemlock tree is a much more poisonous tree. That's why hemlock tree is almost seen as a negative sense. Next question. A simple movement proves to be very significant and save the rest of the day of the poet of being wasted. Explain the basis of the poem Dust of the Snow. Students, again, the same thing you have to tell me. That is, negative crow, negative hemlock tree, dust falling on him made him realize that there is something better. He changed his mind, he changed his mood, and he made a better day. And this can be a 6-mark question, so you have to write a lot. So every single information is given here, you have to mention it. Okay, next question. Fire and ice projects a pessimistic outlook. What is the meaning of pessimistic? The meaning of pessimistic is a much more negative outlook. Does it give a negative outlook? Tell me in the chat. Does it give a negative outlook? The fire and ice poem. Tell me, anyone can chat. Can anyone tell me in the chat? Does it give a negative outlook? The fire and ice. Tell me. The fire and ice projects a realistic outlook, not a negative outlook. It doesn't give a negative outlook, it gives a realistic outlook. Okay, that is the first point you should write, rather than a pessimistic one. The poet brings forth the view that the world will soon end. The world which we see, which we live on, will soon end. Now, what are the reasons for its end? There are two main reasons. The first reason is it could end with the fire, or it could end with the ice. Now here the fire he means not the scientific volcanoes or ice as ice glaciers or the ice age. He means the greed, the lust, the anger or the coldness of a human. That is what he's talking about. Can be identified. It can be either by the fire or ice. He mentions that he has tasted everything in life after the World War I. So it would soon end either with greed or indifference. Now, greed here is fire. Indifference, that is where we do not appreciate others, we do not be thankful for others, that is the cold ice. So either of the two methods, or fire or ice, the world will end. The fire or ice, the world will end. Okay, next question. What does the fire and ice stand for for what it is generally opinion or regarded in the world? Very important question. Very important question. Very, very important question. What is the meaning of fire and ice here? What is the meaning of fire and ice? What is the meaning of fire and ice here? Listen to me very carefully now. Listen to me very, very carefully, all of you. Very carefully listen now. Fire stands for fury, that is angriness, desire of wanting to something, and lust, anger, awareness, that is greed, cruelty and greed. Ice symbolic for hatred, coldness, rigidity, insensitivity, and intolerance. Students, these two lines here are very, very important. These two lines are very important here. Rhyme scheme, after look at the poem, I don't so if you can copy paste the poem, I can tell you the rhyme scheme. If you can copy paste the poem in the chat, I can tell you the rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is very easy to identify. I don't remember the poem because I don't remember the poem right now. Aryan, thank you so much, Aryan. The general opinion regarding the world is that the world will end in fire, and some say ice. The entire world might end in the fire or ice. That is, the world might end because of the human lust, because of the human greed, because of the human angry desire, or because of the human hatred, coldness, or rigidity. Not just because of the scientific methods, not just because of the volcanoes, not just because of the meteoroids, not just because of the ice age. It is the humans who will end the world. That is, the war will end the world. Okay? Next question. State the key points in the poem Amanda. What do you learn from it? Now, what do you learn from the poem Amanda? What is it telling you? Very easy question. Again, every child is special in itself, and it requires a great deal of patience and love to make them understand this. That is, every single child is different. That is, some children will understand very quickly that this is what they'll understand, they'll have some patience. But every single child is not the same. Some of them require more attention, some of them require more patience, some require more love. Okay, the parents should give a proper space to the children. That is, a parent should not, yes, a child should get their own freedom, a small creative freedom. You should not force the child to do this, you will do science after this. After 10th, you will do only science, you will not do commerce, you will not do arts. A parent should never tell that, because every student has their own dream to be a something else. What if a child wants to become a CA? What if a child wants to become an astronaut? Everyone has a different dream, so they should let them pursue it. That's what the poem is telling you. The poem is telling you that a parent should not completely control over a child's life. Okay, proper space to children as they learn through experience as well. So every single child will learn from experience. That is, when you go on explore things, you understand it better. That is called as kinesthetic learning. Children do tend to learn certain bad habits. True. To undo that requires a great level of understanding and the right approach. So sometimes what happens, because of the friends, because of certain incidents, we get some bad habits. But there is a proper way to approach the bad habit. Like, you should not be very harsh and tell them, like, beat them up and tell, no, you should stop doing it. This is the right approach. Make them realize why is it a bad habit, why it will not help you in the future. Make them understand. That's what they're telling you. One cannot teach their child everything in one day and expect them to behave properly henceforth. You cannot be like, one day only learn everything. Entire thing should learn only one day. That is not possible. It takes some time and efforts for a child to develop a particular skill. It is natural for a child like Amanda to seek freedom at her place. To curb that freedom means to make her angry and moody. Okay? Next question. Hello, Fabit. Hello, Neha. Any doubt? Students, I'm telling you, this is a very important question. This can be asked as a value-based question, that what a child needs to do for its freedom, what how parents can be controlling. All that can be asked as a previous year question. So in the poems, the question mainly can come from here for value-based question. Okay. Robin Klein points out the fact that Amanda is forbidden, means she cannot do it. She is very forbidden. She's like, you cannot do this. Forbidden to do anything without seeking the permission. Everything she does, it is corrected by her mother. At all times, she cannot perform a single thing according to her will. She can't sit lazily around. She can't eat. What is the question? Oh, it's continuation of that. more points. Okay. Next question. What is so weird about the hyena and the crocodile? How to tell the wild animals apart? Tell me in the chat. What is the difference? What is the difference between hyena and the crocodile? Can anyone tell me in the chat? Thank you so much. Tell me, what is the difference between hyena and crocodile? Anyone who has learned this chapter? Oh, sorry, poem. CBSE board, that's really good. Tell me, what is the difference between hyena and the crocodile? Hyena laughs. What is the crocodile doing? Anyone in the chat who can tell me? Some animals such as hyena and crocodile are famous for their weird behavior. That is, they have this very peculiar behavior. Some are very different. That is, for example, a laughing hyena voice resembles a human laughing sound. That is the character of a hyena. Moreover, a hyena laughs while swallowing its prey, while a crocodile shed tears. That is, crocodile tears is a very common behavior of crocodile. They don't cry because they're sad. They're cleaning their eyes. That is why they're crying. So crocodile tears and hyena laugh are the two different weird behavior about the two different animals. Yes, the answer is written. I know answer is written, but I want all of you to answer also. No, don't worry. I'll be doing 100 grammar. Yes, there is a PYQ marathon. So there is a grammar marathon tomorrow. There is a marathon tomorrow, 100 questions, top 100 questions, grammar, tomorrow it's happening. Okay? Next question. Humor is the best medicine for every illness or alignment of life. Comment with a reference to the how to tell the animals. Now tell me in the chat, is the humor? Yes, full grammar will be there tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have the full grammar tomorrow. Don't worry. So humor is the best medicine. How can you tell me humor is the best medicine? That is, have you noticed in this park, if you go to park in the morning, you will have their old uncle, aunties, grandpa, grandma, they'll keep on laughing, right? They'll clapping their hands and they'll keep on laughing. Why do they do that? Because when you laugh, actually there are certain chemical reactions happening in your brain which make sure that a dopamine level is increased and that can actually make you feel better. Okay, but in the poem here, they're telling you a different approach. That is, even when you're dying, you should be much more happy. That's what they're saying you here. Humor is infectious. That is, if you start laughing, have you noticed in a class, if your friend starts laughing, for example, if Banu Pratap starts laughing in the class, Divyansh will also start laughing in the class. If you're sitting next to each other, if I start laughing here, ha ha ha, suddenly other person also will start laughing. Yes, so your laughing can be very infectious. Humor can be infectious. When humor is shared, it binds people together and increases the happiness. That is, when happy people sit together, everyone becomes happy. The entire environment becomes happy. This is a poem, not the chapter. Samir, it's a poem. How to tell the wild animals. Humor strengthens our immunity system, boosts our energy, diminishes the pain, and protects us from the damaging effects of the stress. So all of these are different effects of laughing. So that is why laughing is a good medicine. Okay. The poet in the poem, how to tell the wild animals, creates a humor by describing various beasts of prey. So he is telling you different animals. He is explaining you different types of animals and how they eat, and then he is adding humor to it. That is, the way the poet explains things in a very funny yet interesting. The poet has depicted the wildlife in a very vivid and in a lively manner. While reading the poem, the readers enjoy the poet's work and leave them refreshed and happy. That is, when you're dying, he's telling that's how you identify a bear. If a bear is hugging you too tight, it means it's a bear. So basically, your poet is adding a small bit of humor in every way possible. Okay. How does the poem, the trees, very important chapter, very important poem. How does the poem, the trees, make a strong plea against the deforestation. How is it against deforestation? Tell me. Students, can you see in the chat right now? The link is there. Download the notes from that link. Click on that link and you can get all of these notes in that particular description. Okay. This is a 6-mark question. 6-mark question. The poem The Trees sends home a very strong message against the deforestation. It highlights the importance of trees when the poet says that without the trees there will be no shadow, because if there is no shadow, the trees only provide the shadow, they provide the shade. No forest, no place for birds to sit, no place for insects to hide. If there is no trees, no life. If there is no tree, there is no life actually. Okay. As a sapling, the plant adds to the beauty of the surroundings. You know, inside the house, you keep small potted plants which increase the beauty of the house. Yes. When it is spread its branches, leaves, the roots around it, thus in the poem, the trees are welcomed by the strong winds and the moon. So the tree which is inside the house is welcomed outside by the wind as well and the moon. The poet does not want to mention the departure of the forest as he feels guilty for merely looking silently at them as they depart. Why? Because if the tree is going outside, if the tree is going outside the house, right, it is a good thing. That is why he's not telling them bye. He's like, let the trees go from inside the house to the outside the house, because that is where the trees belong. Trees belong in the soil, in the forest, in the jungle, not in the house. This way, she subtly points out the thankfulness for man towards the forest. Okay. Next question, students. Students, every single question is a previous year question here. This has been asked in your board examination. For example, this question right here is not mentioned here. See, this question has been asked in 2013 and 2018 sample paper. So they can ask you again. They can change the question a little bit. They'll ask you a question in a different manner, but they'll ask you the question. Okay. Coughing, please try to take some medicine and try to sleep for some time, you'll feel better. Okay. Next question. Departure is painful. So is the departure of the trees from the poet. What will happen after the departure? Departure meaning to go, to leave. The train is departing, the train is leaving. So what will happen for the departure? Just like the departure of someone close to us is painful. Yes. If we learned in the chapter, yes, that is the sermon of the Banaras, we learned there that departure of a loved one can be very sad. Yes. So also is the departure of the trees. When they are planted as a sapling inside the house, they look nice and hence the beauty of our surroundings. But as they grow and spread out their branches, they look wild and require more space for their growth. Yes, the small sapling which you have in your house, someday the small sapling will grow into a big tree. When it grows into a big tree, can you keep it in a pot? No. So that day you need to take the pot and you're supposed to take it to outside the forest. That's what they're telling you. The roots create cracks in the floor and the leaves stretch out as if to move outwards, and the glass perhaps in need of sunlight. The soft twigs become strong and stiff. That is herbaceous twigs. Small green color, twigs are becoming brown now. Secondary growth is happening. Yes. So the trees need to be removed from the house. The trees needs to be removed from the house, and the tree needs to go outside the house now. No more to do the leaves cover the sky, but the trees breathe and they are welcomed by the wind. They're welcomed by the wind, they're welcomed by the moon. The moon resembles a broken mirror reflecting off the leaves. The poet reveals that she will feel lonely after the tree's departure. She might feel lonely, but is it a good thing? Yes, it is a good thing, because the tree which is the sapling, the small tree, is growing big. It needs more space. That is why the tree is going out now. Okay. Okay. Students, can you read NCERT? Yes, reading NCERT is more than enough. They will not ask you questions outside the NCERT. See, I'll tell you. If you want to score 70% or 80%, 70% or 80%, just by reading NCERT you can score. Just by reading NCERT you can score 70%, 80%. But if you want to score 90% or 95%, you need to do PYQs, you need to write mock test, you need to solve sample papers, then only you will get 95%. So reading NCERT, 70 to 80% you can get easily. Okay. Next question. Difficulties come, but they are not to stay forever. You might have a difficult time in your life, but will the difficult time stay, or will the difficult time will go away? If you do not do anything about it, difficult time will keep on staying with you. If you do not study right now, after 1 month or 2 months, you'll be like, why didn't I study? Why didn't I study for just 3 days or 4 days when I had the time? So don't have the regret inside you. You have the difficult time now. Use the difficult time. Be more productive and study right now. Okay. Difficulties come, but they are not to stay forever. They come and go. Comment reference to the poem Fog. See again, they're giving you a value-based question based on the poem here. Just how the fog is coming, the fog is eventually going away as the sunlight is coming. So in your life, you might have some difficulties right now, but the difficulties will change, the difficulties will departure, the difficulties will go away from your life if you work hard. Okay? Difficulties when faced by the people tend to leave them hopeless and shattered. Yes, it takes a lot of courage to overcome any problem and to solve it. If you take a clue from the poem that compare the difficulties to the frog. If you compare the difficulties, all the difficulties you have in your life to a fog, just like how the fog is coming and it is going away, that's how the difficulties will be happening. Okay, difficulties also come and go. One needs not to lose hope or lose courage when problems come. One should rather think of it as a fog, meaning that it has not come to stay, but it will always leave, just like the fog. It has just come for some time. The difficulties will go away later on. Okay, let's see the chat right now. So grammar, tomorrow I'll be doing grammar. Do not worry, tomorrow I'll be doing grammar. In fact, today 6:30 p.m. there is a grammar session. Life process, yes, when the exam is nearby, I will be teaching you life process. I'll be teaching you entire syllabus for biology, because biology is my strong subject. Okay. Now, money is external. All the money in the world is a very external thing. Money is very external. What does the poet mean by this? The poem is the ball poem. In the ball poem, what is the meaning of money is very external thing? That is, when the small child lost his ball, he was very sad. But the poet could have bought him a new ball. But did he do that? No. The reason he did not buy him a new ball because he wanted the small child to understand the responsibility he has towards his things. He is playing there with our ball for a very long time. He has an emotional connection with it. Even if the poet buys him a new ball, will the memories come back? No. For example, you have a favorite pen, yes, or you have a favorite book, or if you have a favorite video game, in fact any favorite thing. When you lose the favorite thing from your life, the memories which you have the favorite thing, will the memories come back? No. Even if you buy a new ball, even if you buy a new pen, the memories which you had with the old one will never come back. That is what they're telling us. Money is external. Money can buy you things again. But will the money buy you memories? No. Money will not buy you memories. Okay? You cannot buy the love. You cannot buy anything. Okay? The poet makes the boy understand about his responsibility as a loss is immaterial. Money is external as it cannot buy the memories, nor it can replace the things that we love, the things that really matter. Okay? No, the ball here is just a small ball, not a necklace. Small ball here which he has lost. A child was bouncing a ball, it bounced and it went to the harbor. Okay. Om Prakash saying, I cannot speak in Hindi. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that if you listen to my Hindi, right? If you listen to my Hindi, you will forget Hindi. That bad my Hindi is. Okay. I'm so sorry. I cannot speak Hindi very well. Okay. I cannot speak Hindi very well. If I could, I would have spoken, but I cannot. Okay. I don't know how to speak Hindi properly. Now, why is it important for everyone to experience loss and stand up and to stand up after that? Like, so every student out there, you might feel some loss, right? Imagine you had a favorite book, favorite geometry box. You had a favorite geometry box. What if you lose that box? You'll feel a sadness inside you, right? That is what is happening here. That is, it is important for everyone to experience a loss and to stand up after it, because you are overcoming that loss. You are overcoming that loss. Yes. Strong and to get over with it. One needs to stay strong no matter what, how much it hurts inside. Staying strong is the only way to survive. If you give up, yes, if you give up on particular thing, you might not understand later on that how important one thing was. So whenever, every single time you are going under a loss, remember that it is only for a small time. It will go away. The loss will go away, but do not lose hope that time. Okay. Is the voice really low? Students, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Are you able to hear me? Check, check, check. Yes, Prityusha, right? Welcome to the channel. And students, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because we are a new channel. I know we are late because we were actually contemplating. When I say contemplating, I mean we were thinking that, do we need an English channel? Because we have an amazing Vedantu 9th and 10th channel, right? Vedantu 9th and 10th, where Abhishek sir teaches. But we were thinking, why can't we have an English channel for all the audience who want to learn in English? Like, some of the students do not understand Hindi. Yes, Hindi can be difficult for some students. We understand that. And because of that very reason, we made a new channel called as Diksha Vedantu 9th and 10th English, in which every single teacher will be teaching the entire syllabus for your 9th and 10th preparation only and only in English. Okay? So, Samiran, it happens to all of us. All of us have lost a favorite person in our life, right? Yes, Sandra ma'am, I recently met with Sandra ma'am outside. We spoke, Sandra ma'am and I spoke today itself. This has a link with Tamil channel also. Don't worry. Okay. Next question. How does the poem The Tale of the Custard the Dragon differs from the traditional fables? Not bald, it should be fables. Bald or fables. How is it different? This question is from the Sermon of Banaras or the ball poem. Now students, here they can ask you, this can be asked from your ball poem. Can be from your ball poem. But you can also write here some of the points from your fog. You can also write some of the points from the Sherman from the Banaras. You can add some points here and there. Okay. Shimon sir, yes, I'll be meeting Shimon sir next month. I'll be taking grammar also, don't worry. Okay. Now, the traditional ballads are narrative folk slangs, and they tell all kinds of stories, including the histories and legends. They are tales of adventure and heroism. The tale of Custard the Dragon can be considered more of a fable than a ballad, as a fable is fictitious. Yes, fable is a fictitious. In ballad, it's basically histories. Here there's no history. It is very fiction. Why is it a fiction? Because here a small girl has a dragon as a pet. Is that even possible? No. So this is a fiction. Okay, this is a fiction here. Okay, narratives usually with animals, birds, etc. are characters and shares a strong message that can be silly or heroic. The tale of Custard of a Dragon contains animals as characters. Here, like Panchatantra or Indian Panchatantra, right? Panchatantra also had animals as characters here. and surely has a strong message, and it is considered to be a fable. Now, what is the strong message? The strong message was here: during the time of need, a courage can come from within, and even if you have courage, you do not show it off. Okay. Next question: what does the poet compare the branches of the trees to? Very important one. Very important. When the branches, this is from the poem The Trees, when the branches coming out of the window, how are they comparing it? This is a question from your NCERT, direct question from NCERT. The poet compares the bot and the branches, the twigs and the branches of the tree to the newly discharged patients. Now, why is he comparing? Why is he comparing all the patients to the trees? Because just like the patients, how they're dead, no, they do not have energy. They do not have energy. They're very low in energy. Here is comparing that. Moving out of the clinic door in a half-dazed condition, stiffed under the strain of the confinement. That is, they're very malnourished. Patients are very tired. That's how they're comparing. Okay. They are desperate to stretch themselves out to the open and get to a breath of fresh air, because they want to come out of the clinic. They want to come out of the entire thing, and they want to breathe some fresh air. That's what they're comparing. Okay. Now, what does the Sandberg think the fog is like? Again, easy question. Here, how is he comparing the fog to? Fog is coming very silently, just like how a cat is coming very silently. Yes. See, the thing is, if you do not know how to answer it right, always write in points in your book first. In your book, write in points, then check for grammatical mistakes, then read again, and then practice. The best way to present the answers is by looking at such answers. See, by solving questions. See, you might know the story. If you just know the story and go to the exam, you might not get good marks. Why? Because when you do the question practice, when you actually know how to present by actually solving such questions, when you're able to solve such questions more and more, you will know how to write them. So my request is, all of you download this PDF and practice it. Okay, download the PDF and practice it. Yes, definitely, why not? Yes, definitely, why not? So here, the poet compares next question. This compares the fog to a cat. The metaphorical expression on the little cat feet. The cat feet has very paws are very soft. Just like a cat is coming softly, fog is also coming very quietly. Okay. Implies the fog approaches noiselessly and stealthily, just like a cat. Describe the appearance of the dragon. They can ask you directly, how did the dragon look like? The cusp of the dragon had a formidable appearance. That is, he looked very big and strong. He looked very big and strong. Okay. Very strong. With the sharp teeth, very sharp teeth, toes like a dagger, means very sharp, like a dagger teeth, spikes on his back and scales on his belly. His mouth was a fireplace. That is, a dragon can breathe fire. And the nose was always smooth, fuming like a chimney. That is, from the nose, smoke was coming from the like a chimney. However, in the sharp contrast to the appearance, its temperature was extremely timid. That is, even though he might look very angry and everything, but our dragon was very sweet. Okay. Is there a hidden message that poet is wishing to convey, or do you think that entertainment is the sole purpose of writing this poem? That is the custard one. The dragon, the custard. The dragon thought that never put his strength on display, but exhibits its action when it is required. The hidden message here is when the time comes, whenever there is a time, okay, when you need to show courage, the courage will come from inside. Even though you do not know, you might not have it, but it will come out if you're really courageous. And if you're courageous, right? If you're courageous, you do not show it off like other animals. Okay. The interpretation of the message in the poem may vary from the different readers. The situation narrates underscores of a basic truth that the real test of courage is during a crisis. So the real test of courage, the real, someone will tell, you know, I'm very courageous, I can go here, I can go there, I'm not scared at all. But when the reality is coming, that's when, if someone is really courageous, it will come out during a crisis. Okay. Next question. What is the color of the young woman's hair? Why do you think she wants to change it? This is from your last chapter. The young woman's hair is bright yellow, golden, and also his yellow hair, which she says she can dye brown or black or carrot later on. Why? Because she thinks the man only wants her for external beauty. Okay. She desires this change to improve her looks and appear beautiful in the eyes of the young man. Because she wants to look different. She wants to look different because she wants to be because she's telling the other person, saying that men can only like me for my hair, but I can actually change my hair also. Yes. What wisdom was imparted to the poet by the old religious man? Do you agree with the opinion? What is the opinion here? Yes, she yearned for the inner beauty. She wanted a man who would want her for inner beauty, that is her thoughts, her feelings and everything. Not a man who wants her for external beauty. She did not want a man who would only like her hair. She wanted a man who would love for her inside thoughts. The old religious man quoted the text that it is only the God who can love a person for himself regardless of his appearance and other attributes. That is, it is the God, only the God will only look at your inner thoughts, the inner beauty. No one else will look at it. I agree that God's love for his creation is unconditional because God made us. But people do not influenced by the appearance, but people do get influenced by the appearance and other physical traits. That is, when you look at a person and you'll be like, okay, that has beautiful eyes, beautiful smile, beautiful hair. You get just by looking at someone, you get that, you get influenced by it, not by the inner thoughts. There are very few people who get actually influenced by the inner thoughts. Okay. But the affection of parents, very important line. A mother, a father, parents for the children is unbiased and selfless like the God's love, and it is not affected by any unpleasant of appearance. A God will not judge you. A mother will love his son or daughter. A father will love his son or daughter regardless of how they look from the outside. Okay. So students, that was the end of the session. That was the end of the session. Thank you so much, students. In total, we have done more than 100 PYQs. The entire PDF will be available. The entire PDF will be available in the description. So please download the PDF and solve all the questions possible, because all of these questions are very important and all of these questions can repeat. So please do the questions. And at 6:30 you will have a week quiz now. So attend the week quiz, solve the grammar questions. All the best to all of you. Tomorrow I'll be taking questions on grammar as well. So I'll see you tomorrow at same time, same place. So until then, take care all of you. Good evening. Okay, bye bye.